Well, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, I wish you the best of the day, that you get to spend time with another. And why is this important? Um, it's important because, one, we're a species that thrives when we are with another. The isolation of one being one myself is you have no extra stimulation. I've always thought that conversations with myself where at least I could be with someone I agree with, but you don't get new ideas, you don't get new perspectives from that. And why do you want new ideas and new perspectives? Because we can get isolated in how we think the world should be. We get isolated in the possibilities that exist because we don't see other perspectives when we just talk to ourselves, or if we just talk to people who only agree with us. So, one of the things I've been excited to do this year is be in conversation with others. And I just finished a call with a group of people who are looking to deepen their understanding of words and phrases that they use in what we call a template, with the language of creation. The templates carry us through different levels of consciousness. And when you want to go deeper in them, which we use what we call a template 3, craving what, we redefine what each of the words that we used in the original template mean. And while that's always kind of opening your eyes open up and you see yourself deeper, the action of listening to others in the same process deepens my process. So that's the activity in a group of others. So I open up to more of the possibilities that could exist for me by listening to others. One of the things that I have found myself doing this year, one is offering 2 different programs that have people in conversation. And it isn't, one of them uses the templates, one doesn't. The first one is Charles Einstein's work. Basically, he wrote a blog in January that talks about next stories. What the old story was, what's the next story? And so I thought, why not get together with people and say, hey, what does that mean to you, this next story? What are the possibilities or perspectives or thoughts around that next story? And it's not like we're going to solve the world or solve world issues. And we each get to get a little bit more ideas in our head, in those neural networks in our head, about what might be possible. I don't know if you have children or grandchildren. I have grandchildren now. And I think about their future. And I think about the world that I'm helping to create for them. And I think the only world that will work for them is if they're talking to each other in conversation, where they're exploring and discovering and together create new activities, new ideas, new solutions that they feel will work for them in their world. Everything that we've created so far, my generation, my parents' generation, and back, worked for a while, but it really isn't functional. And you can see that in the banking system, you can see it in the education system, you can see it in the healthcare system, certainly in the United States. So it's these young ones that will create a new future, will create new institutions, will create new ways of being. And there are different groups around on the earth who are practicing some of that now. Let's say Damanhur, which is a eco-spiritual community in Italy. They live in what they call nucleos that gather together, but you live with 10 or 12 people. And then they have a system where each nucleo works together and then works with another group of nucleo. But one of their thoughts is that the maximum effective amount of humans in a group is 250. And that you shouldn't go higher than that, because it is in that kind of group that you can create something that works for everyone and moves us forward into a new way of being, that is in time with the world right now and not stuck back in 1800s, 1900s, whatever you want to say. That might be my version of describing what they do. But mostly when I read Charles Einstein and I read Tyson Yunkaporta, they're both talking about the same issue, is that the old stories don't work anymore, that the Western society with the huge cities and the top-down structure is not a viable, sustainable future for humanity. And I want my grandchildren to have a world that they really love and enjoy. And I believe they can do that by becoming used to conversation and working with others and creating new possibilities together. What's my job right now? Well, I just think, one, I like to be in conversation. I really do enjoy it. But I also think if this is a practice of mine and I do it, and then I'll do it with them, and then they'll just assume that's how you do it. That's how you create in the world. You listen, you explore, you discover, you listen until the listening is done. And that, I don't know if you all remember, if you've ever worked with Native American and indigenous, the talking stick. And that let each person talk until the talking was done. I think in Australia, they call it yarning, which is listening until the listening is done, until the conversation is done. And I don't know when there's a done, but if people get used to that and speak to each other in a way that really listens to them, I think we have a chance. We have a chance to create a world where we are more attuned to the land, more attuned to spirit, more attuned to nature, more in tune to honoring, respecting the unique and essential selves of every other human being. There's no such thing as I'm better than you, to be quite honest. We're all different. And if we can start honoring and respecting each other through conversation, and then through how we treat you, the other, and then through how we create systems that support them, the other. Because there's always probably going to be a wide range of humanity. Maybe not. Maybe this business of the rich and the poor will disappear, will fade out, as we really learn to honor and respect each other, and using conversation, deliberate conversation with others, as one of our tools that we use in our tool bag. I get to practice this now. I won't be the future. There's a wonderful poem by Rumi which talks about, your children are the arrow shot into the future, and you are the bow. And you may never know their world, but it matters how we shoot, how strong the bow is, and where we shoot the arrow. And that's all I can do right now, I know, is really be in this practice, really listen, listen to what other people are saying about life, about how we should be or can be with one another. And as we listen, we start to craft new practices, new ways of being together, new ways. And that's the future. And my grandkids are the future. Your grandkids, your children are the future. And we can't ground them in a reality that is breaking apart. We have to give them an opportunity to create a new future. And that does mean that some of the things that we've been familiar with are going to go away. Some of them are going to be painful for people, maybe like creating a new school system. My grandson goes to a different kind of school where he can learn by project. And he does. He goes deep into any topic that he gets hold of. It's also a school that encourages him to be outdoors. They keep the kids outdoors because of the connection with nature being important. But it's just one look at a different educational system. In any case, I wish you that you get to be in conversation with others this week, to listen, to discover, to explore. And if you're interested in being in the conversations that I'm having, you can go to my website, the Language of Consciousness Institute. And the website is www.loc-institute.com, and go to our events on the dashboard. And you can register for the Einstein Conversations in February. It's a free conversation. You can register for the ones we're going to have in March. And if you read the description, you'll see the interesting questions or next stories that we're going to discover. And you could also register for Sand Talk, which is a discussion. It's deeper. It's going to be every other week, starting on Wednesdays. I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific on Wednesdays. So it's set up for people in Europe as well as in the States. So anyway, I wish you fun conversations, loving conversations, interesting conversations. And I think that'll make the difference in our world. Take care and have a wonderful day, morning, evening, good sleep. Bye-bye.